So what are the three strategies that every single church should be using to reach their community in digital marketing? It unfortunately, in a post-COVID world, what used to be optional in marketing, in email, in social media, in having a good website, what used to be optional and you could just have church on the weekend and not have to worry about being there digitally, all of the people who check you out in person, check you out online first. Back before you had to worry about that, none of this mattered. But now, the world of digital marketing is here, and it's impacting the church on a deep, deep level. Most pastors are not trained in marketing. And that's a really nice way of saying most churches aren't that good at marketing. So the question, how do they get better? Well, I recommend simplicity. I recommend starting small, and I recommend leaning into a few key strategies that will pay the biggest returns and not wasting your time and energy on something else. So, strategy number one is email marketing. You have an email list of attenders. Whether you know it or not, you have a list of people who volunteered at events. You have a list of people who've gone on your mission trips. You have a list of people who give every week. And you should be collecting all of these email addresses at every turn. And then you should be sending them at least weekly emails saying, hey, here's what's going on. Here's why we believe in you. Here's what we're doing for the community. And here's why you should be at church this Sunday. For perspective, the largest church in the world, the largest church in America, I've been able to see the back end of their email marketing. And just in Q1 alone, they sent 10 million emails. 10 million. And that was just to their audience. That is a crazy number. That is more than 100x the number of attenders that they have attending. So think about your church. For every one individual, you should be sending 100 emails per quarter that you have. So for every one individual attender, you should be sending 100 emails a quarter. That is 12 weeks. That's a lot of emails, man. And your email list should be a little bit bigger than your weekly attendance as normal. But that's strategy number one. Strategy number two, you need to keep the lights on social media. Now, I don't think you should invest heavy. I don't think you should be posting every day. You should not be paying somebody strictly to run your social media and pay a full-time salary for that. That is not necessary for most churches. Some churches get big enough where they do need that. But the average church of 100 to 200 people, you do not need to be paying a full-time social media manager. What you need is to keep the lights on and to be personable and to be social on social media. Have the pastor jump in and say, hey guys, here's what I'm struggling with this week. And here's how I'm reaching the community. And here's the struggles that my family's going through. Please be praying for me. Get personal, get social, get communal on these platforms. The three that I recommend right now are Facebook. Unfortunately, it is still required for being on there. And then Instagram is another one that, depending on who you are, is good. And then I think Facebook groups needs their own specific strategy. And I've seen some thriving buy, sell, trade, help each other out communities and groups for small churches that end up becoming like a way that the church stays connected every single day all the time. So that's marketing channel number two. Marketing channel number three is what I call word of mouth virality. And this is where you are equipping your people to go and talk about your church, whether it's through photo ops in your lobby or whether it's through cool events that you put on or whatever you can do to get your people posting on social media about your church. That's how you grow. You make it easy. You send visual assets to your people, and you say, hey, could you post about this? And you ask your team to be your biggest advocates, because that is how people attend your church is word of mouth. And we're just going to amplify that. And the other way that is mandatory / barrier of entry for this is you've got to be doing something worth talking about. You need to be reaching your community. I remember one church in Florida, my friend Corey's the pastor. They were amazing at responding to this massive hurricane that came through and decimated their town. just destroyed it. And their church, they stopped church for like a month, and they just did daily serving the community, bringing volunteers together, asking for support and aid through their national partners. And then they were showing up for the community, and so many people were posting about their church. People who didn't even attend their church were posting about their church. They were creating word of mouth virality, and also they were being the body of Christ at the same time, which is amazing. So those are the 3 marketing channels that you need to be using as a church. And just a brief entry level. If you want me to do more videos on this, just comment below or ask more questions about what these strategies are. So I'll see you on the next one. All right, peace.